Let me ask you this. The current events that have happened, Terrence Crawford ends up beating Canelo Alvarez. He ends up becoming a WBC champion. But he ends up saying to the WBC and Mauricio Suleiman, you can take your sanctioning fees and shove them where the sun don't shine, so to speak. And then the WBC in turn turned around and said, yeah, well, we want our belt back and you're not champion. And we don't care that it doesn't just screw you. It also screws Canelo Alvarez for that rematch stuff. But we don't care. We're taking our ball back and going home and running with it. To which Terrence Crawford said, have it. It's a trophy. It's the equivalent of a participation ribbon that I got in junior high school. I may have been adding those last little bits, but whatever. Now, my bigger question to you, Steve, is because we've always looked at the WBC and the WBA and the WBO and the IBF and the LMNOPs and the XYZs and all the rest of them as the governing bodies of professional boxing. Is that changing? And if so, are we finally seeing, because some more boxers, some more high-level profile boxers are coming out saying that the WBC is very cultish. And if you don't believe in this cult, you're not going to get a belt.
Well, this would be, let's put this into context and add a little bit of something.
Sure.
Because this needs to be read and seen with the comments that Dana White made a while ago in the lead up to whatever the thing that he's got with Turkey Al Sheikh that will come next year, whether it'll be a TV series and a league and a Legends division and all of that. He said he wouldn't work with promoters and he wouldn't work with sanctioning bodies. He didn't say that, but the reason, but he's only recognizing the Zuffa belt. Yeah, good luck with that. And the Ring magazine belt, which has got quite a lot of kudos. So it only recognise those two, which means sanctioning bodies. Sanctioning bodies have just, particularly the WBC, actually, they've had their convention. They are at it. It's like one of those conventions where you come away thinking, did that really happen? Because not only have they said, and I did like your playground tone. Yeah, have the belt then. Yeah. And let me just tell you as well, you might not have noticed that Terrence Crawford has leaned into this or lent into this because he has a new T-shirt. And the T-shirt reads, I am the belt. So,
I mean, he's not wrong.
He's not. I mean, but we've said this for ages, haven't we? And the sanctioning fees are another matter, and we'll maybe talk about that in a minute. Sure. But WBC is flexing its muscles because, for good and bad, because they've done three things, I think, out of the convention. Correct me if I'm wrong. They have done the thing with Terrence Crawford. Mm-hmm. They have said to Alexander Usyk, thank you for coming, Mr. Usyk. May I kiss your ring? You have said that you may well fight for a belt again, which will be our belt because you're here behind the podium for the convention. Because you said, I have 4 belts. Well, 3 belts, but it's temporary. And so consequently, you can fight whoever you want next. You don't need to worry about Fabio Wardley or anybody else. And although, of course, he's a different sanctioning body, but you can just decide. And the other one they've done is that they have catapulted Conor Benn to the top of their welterweight rankings, haven't they? Which is one of the reasons why you'll see Eddie Hearn coming out saying, I thought belts were important, God blimey.
Well, exactly at that. And we're talking about the same kind of governing bodies that also put after 2 years of not even, being in a fight, Manny Pacquiao ranked him top 5 so that he could have a belt. We're talking about the WBC that made it possible for Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. to become champion. Now, that brings a whole nother question, because there's certainly things that could be said that WBC might possibly have some ties with some certain affiliations, with some certain organizations that do certain activities. I'm not saying anything out loud because I don't need my house blown up. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's this side of the pond. I can say shit about your side of the pond, but over here, let it be known. Listen, the WBC is the same organization that had to file for bankruptcy at one time because they decided to, who was it? It was, why am I drawing a blank here? Roy Jones Jr. decided that he was going to quit. And so they had a fight and they crowned a new champion. And then Roy said, just kidding. I'm going to come back now. And they decided to make him champion and say that, hey, sorry to Mr. German boxer guy there, but no, we didn't mean it when we said you were champion. We take it back. And so it literally almost put them out of business. They had to file for damn near, chapter 7 instead of chapter 11 or something like that. So which makes you think, how did they become so big and popular after that? Well, they also had another guy that they used to do a lot of bending of the rules for by the name of Don King. Don King used to flex his muscle on the WBC left, right, and center. Let it be known that, we're talking about the same guy who ended up flexing and saying that, no, Mike Tyson never lost that belt to Buster Douglas because of a long count, this, that, and the other thing, and forced them to go into, protection mode for quite some time. The WBC is doing a really good job now of trying to flex some muscle that I don't personally think they have. The boxer is the one out there doing it. The boxer is the one who's out there fighting. Okay, yeah, sure. You've got together in your club and you've said that we're going to protect the fighters and we're going to have certain rules. Well, listen, any boxer who doesn't work for a promotion or work for a company or work for a show that doesn't have those same rules in place in this day and age is foolish and probably gets what they deserve anyways. However, the WBC, these sanctioning bodies, these sanctioning fees, all of this is no longer needed. And what we're finding is that Zuffa, Ring Magazine, Terrence Crawford himself has even said so much to the point of, the only one that really matters nowadays is the Ring Magazine belt, and that one's free. Free, ladies and gentlemen. We're talking about guys that, don't make money to begin with in those early stages. Even in some of the bigger stages, because they've got guys like Don King that are ripping them off left, right, and center, allegedly. They've got guys that have to train. So they've got to pay for their gym. They've got to pay for their coaches. They've got to pay for all of this other stuff. Boxers don't necessarily live that lifestyle that you think they do when you see that they're bringing in $100 million because the government wants their 50% right out the gate. Sometimes even more so, depending on the state that they're fighting in. So for him to be keeping a $300,000 chunk from the WBC, Terrence Crawford, I say you go, boy. Because what we're going to see, this is the start. This is the catalyst. I truly believe that we're going to see more and more fighters standing up to stuff like this because there's going to be an option. Right?
Yes, and we have seen Zuffa TKO making merry with this, saying this is the reason why we don't need these sanctioning bodies because it looks ridiculous. However, what WBC are doing is, first of all, let me say that people like Terrence Crawford in this modern era and in these last few weeks can do this because of boxers like, actually just one boxer, Alexander Usyk, because he doesn't care whether he drops that belt. He dropped the IBF one a while ago. He dropped the WBO recently. They've got the ridiculous regular and super championship. How ridiculous. So that's one of the reasons why the WBC must have been delighted when he said, "I'll come to your convention," because they're making merry with him. So they're hoping, I presume, that they have some partnership with him, which will be a good thing to do. Mm-hmm. Notwithstanding that he's picked Deontay Wilder as his next participant, and I can't believe it. But the other thing is that they're making merry with or trying a partnership with Eddie Hearn and Matchroom, surely, by saying to Conor Benn, You just get to the top, son. Never mind. You just leapfrog over Solomon Sissoko, who is our silver champion. You do that, and he's the mandatory challenger. As I said in my podcast, you know, he feels a tap on his back, and he just sees Conor Benn's bumhole flying into the distance as he goes over him. So I think that's what's happening. The sanctioning fees are another thing, and that they might have to talk about that in the near future. They can flex their muscles, but they might have to say, okay, you don't need to pay us. We'll just find some other way to do this.
Well, they're going to have to.
Yeah, they're going to have
to.
Yeah.
Absolutely going to have to.
Yeah, but they are making those alliances to fight against Zuffa, TKO, Seller, whoever, what that amalgamation is next year. I feel sure of that.
Well, the writing is on the wall, Steve. I mean, the writing is on the wall, or as Michael Jackson would say, just another fly on the wall. I don't know. Listen, we're going to find out, and it's going to be interesting. I want to take a quick break because I got some people that, want to hear about more of your stuff. So we've got a little ditty that we're going to play for them. And when we come back, we're going to talk a whole lot more boxing. This is the Bees of Boxing. Thank you so much to everybody who's watching this on YouTube or listening to this on all of your podcast providers. I'm Chris. He's Steve. We'll be right back.
Wrestling, rock, pop, books, films, TV, boxing. All of this is covered on Steve Swift's Rambling Reviews. I am he, Steve Swift, a UK guy. What you get is all of that. And a funny voice and even a funnier face. See? Steve Swift's Rambling Reviews. Come to me. I've got a review. Just for you. Ta-ta.